All right, we're going to go over your Unit 5 math assessment. Number 1, which representation shows y as a function of x? So all this is asking is which one is a function. So we're looking to find one where x does not repeat. X doesn't repeat, function. All right, so the first one here, these are all repeating x's, not a function. X repeats with a -4, not a function. With our mapping here, we only have one arrow coming out of each number, so this is a function. And the last one is a mapping where 0 has 2 arrows coming out, so that 0 that's showing it repeating, not a function. So the correct answer was C. Number 2, a relation contains the points 6, 7, 2, -1, 3, -1, 4, 5, and 5, 8, -8. Which statement accurately describes this relation? So the first thing I looked at was, is this a function? And my x values are 6, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They don't repeat, so this is a function. The next thing I did was I looked and saw 2 of these things are saying does not represent a function, so I immediately got rid of f and h. Then I had to look at g and j. G says the relation represents y as a function of x because each of the x values is associated with 2 values of y. And that right there, the 2 values of y, is why that's wrong. Should only say with a 1 value, or as in this one, single value. So J says the relation represents y as a function of x because each values of x is associated with a single value of y. So J is the correct answer when talking about a function. And this does represent a function. Number 3, which set of ordered pairs represents y as a function of x? So when we see this, that's just saying, is it a function? So again, x can't repeat. A, I have -1 repeating and -2 repeating. B, I have 1 repeating. C, I have my zeros repeating on 4 different points. D, I have 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. X doesn't repeat. This is a function. D. Number 4, an oil well contractor drifts a shaft 2 meters deeper into the ground every hour. Which graph has a slope that can best represent this rate? So deeper, we're going down. So it's going into the ground, we're losing feet, or we're going negative every hour. So this one here, which is a flat line, not going to give us the correct slope. Here we're starting at 0. And so what I did was I figured out 2 meters each hour and what that would look like here. Because when we're in these partials, a lot of these are going up or going down by such a large number, it's hard to see, is that at 1, -2? So my best determining factor was looking at this 10 value and finding out 10, -20. So here I'm over 10 and up -20 is approximately right here. So my line should have been going approximately like this, which I don't see. So G is not correct either. H, again, I was able to approximate my plotting here. -20 and 10, so 10 hours, -20. Again, not on a graph. H is not right. The last one starts at 0, so we're good there. And here's my approximation of 2 hours, -4 feet. But then I looked at 10 hours, -20 feet. This one lines up with our graph, so J is the correct answer for this scenario. Number 5, which graph represents y as a function of x? So when we're given graphs, we're going to do a vertical line test. Take your pen or pencil, and as soon as that hits in more than one place, so like right here, that's my pencil or pen, that one line is hitting right here, which means x is repeating. And wherever so x is repeating this entire circle. B, when I run my pen across here, it's only hitting in that one place on that line. So B, this is a function. Here, when I run my pen across, when I get to this line here, when we're talking about a vertical line like this, x is repeating the entire line. This is not a function. And then I have another one here, and I've written out my line already. X is repeating. In this section here, X repeats. And then in this section here, X repeats. This is not a function. So B was the only one that was a function, and that's the correct answer. Number 6, the value of y varies directly with x. When y equals 35, x equals 1/2. What is the value of y when x is 1 1/4? So we need to know that we need it for direct variation. We're setting up y over x. And so we've got two proportions that we're looking at, or two ratios. Y over x is equal to y over x. So we have our proportion. Even without even doing any math on this, I have 35 over 1/2, and I've also converted it to decimals, and y over 1 1/4. And so that's it. This is more than doubling, right? If I'm looking at 35 and I need to have something that's more than doubling, it's more than tripling. So we're going to be looking at something that's well over double that 35, right? It's more than double. Not quite triple though. So this is smaller, can't work. This is smaller, can't work. So I had 70 and 87.5. Well, 70 is that doubled. So even just using our number sense, we're going to see that this isn't correct. And our only answer choice would be 87.5. And then what I did was I cross multiplied. 0.5y is equal to 43.75, and that's just multiplying 35 and 1.25. Then I divide by 1/2, y equals 87.5, or as a mixed number, 87 and 1/2. Which graph appears to show a non-proportional relationship between y and x? Again, we can't cross the origin. So I've identified all the places where my graphs are crossing the origin. Here, I have my origin, but there's no graph crossing. So this one is non-proportional. And this last one here is proportional. So C was the only non-proportional relationship. Number 8, which situation could not represent a proportional relationship? So again, we're looking to have some extra value that we're adding or taking away beyond that rate. So the weight in X weeks of a baby that gains 1 pound per week if its starting weight is 7 pounds. So I've written out the equation, and I've written it two different ways. One where we are implying the one, and one where I've actually shown it. These are the same exact equation. My slope is 1 on both of those. All right, so this one does not represent a proportional relationship. Let's check the other ones. The number of gallons of water in X barrels with 38 gallons of water in each barrel. So I don't have anything added to those. The amount an employee who makes $14.50 per hour earns in H hours. Again, they're just making that $14.50 each hour. And the last one, the cost of purchasing P pounds of bananas for 75 cents per pound. And there's no additional charges on that. So F is the only correct answer for this. Number 9, the two lines graphed on the coordinate grid each represent an equation. Which ordered pair represents a solution to both equations? So we're looking for the point where they intersect. And that is where x is -3 and y is 3. And that's this B answer here. And remember, it goes x then y for our ordered pair. So -3, 3. Number 10, Shauna ran a 4-mile race in 32 minutes. Which graph has a slope that best represents Shauna's average rate of speed during this race? So 32 minutes for 4 miles is 8 minutes for 1 mile. I just divided. And then I was looking at rates. So here we should be starting at the origin because 0 minutes is going to be 0 miles. Here I have 0 minutes, 0 miles, but when I go over to 8 minutes for 1 mile, we're not on the graph. Again, 8 minutes, 1 mile, not on the graph. The last one, 8 minutes, 1 mile, we're on the graph, starting at the origin. J is the correct answer. Number 11, a bottle contains 40 fluid ounces of orange juice and 12 fluid ounces of pineapple juice. Which graph has a slope that best represents the ratio of orange juice to pineapple juice in this bottle? So I simplified my ratio here, 40 over 12. I divided by 4 and I got 10/3. And it told me by looking at the graph which one was x and y. So make sure you're using the graph to your benefit. So y over x. So I have orange juice, that's my 40. And then my pineapple juice is my x value. So 40 over 12, divide by 4, I get 10 thirds. And then I just need to go up 10 and over 3. Up 10 over 3 is right there, not on the graph. So I'm going to have to go to a bunch of these. All right, here I'm going to go up 10 over 3, not on the graph. Up 10 over 3 it is on the graph, and it is 0, 0, which we would expect to see. And then the last one, up 10 over 3 is not on the graph. The correct answer was C. Number 12, Jane buys her lunch in the school cafeteria. The cost of 30 lunches is $67.50. Which graph is a slope that best represents the average cost of lunches in dollars per lunch? So what I did was I found out how much it would be for one lunch, and I just divided, and I found that it's $2.25 per lunch. So one lunch, $2.25, not plotted on that graph correctly. Let me leave this right here. All right, one lunch, $2.25, not on our line there. One lunch, $2.25, not going to be on that slope. And the last one lunch, just over 2, so $2.25. This one is correct, J. Number 13, triangle PSV is shown on the coordinate grid. The coordinates of each vertex of the triangle are integers. What is the slope of PV? So I've highlighted PV here, and then I did rise over run. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4 units down, so -4, and over 1. And that just simplifies to -4. The table shows the linear relationship between the number of hours Fiona worked X and the amount of money Fiona earned Y. So I'm looking here. So for just over an hour, she's made $17.50. Based on the table, how much did Fiona earn per hour? So we're looking for 1 hour, so that we're looking for a value smaller than $17.50. Well, that's $17.50, that can't be right. This is greater than, and this is greater than. But the way to determine that is to just divide. So if I want to make sure that that 14 is correct, you take your $17.50 and divide that by 1.25, and there's where you get the 14 from. Number 15, a gym charges a membership fee plus an additional fee per yoga class. The table shows the linear relationship between the number of yoga classes taken and the total cost, including the membership fee. Which statement is true? So the first thing I wanted to figure out is what the relationship between yoga classes and cost. And what I determined is that I'm getting charged $3.75 per class. And then the one option says the additional fee per yoga class is $3.75, so that's true. And then it's talking about a yoga class is $8.50. That's not true. The membership fee is $50, and the membership fee is $42.50. To determine that, all I did was multiply my $3.75. So $3.75 times 6 classes is $22.50, and I subtracted that $65.50 minus $22.50, $45. So if I would have set this to 0, that would be $45. So C and D are not correct either. 16, a company sells bottles of vitamin capsules. The graph and table show the linear relationship between the cost of per capsule in cents and the number of bottles ordered. What is the slope of the line that models the situation? So you could use rise over run, which we would just use these points. Or you could use the slope formula, which is what I've modeled here. I labeled my points x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and you could have used any of these points. Then I used my slope formula and I substituted my values in. So 60 minus 65 is -5, and 2 minus 1 is 1. -5 divided by 1 is just -5. So your slope should be -5. Number 17, on a map scale, 2 inches represents 60 miles. Which graph best shows the relationship between x, the number of inches on the map, and y, the actual distance in miles? So I'm looking at 2 inches and 60 miles, and I'm finding that on my coordinate grid here. So 2 inches, 60 miles is right here, not on our graph. 2 inches, 60 miles, not on our graph. 2 inches, 60 miles, that is on our graph, so C is correct. And the last one, there are a couple things wrong with this. 0 inches should be 0 miles, so it should be going through the origin. And then also we have 2 inches, 60 miles is off the graph. So C was the correct option for number 17. Number 18, a student released a balloon at ground level and it rises into the air at a constant rate. After 4 seconds, the height of the balloon is 1 foot. The balloon continues to rise at the same rate. Which table shows the relationship between the time in seconds x and the height of the balloon in feet y? So I set up the 4 seconds and 1 foot, and I wanted to see what 10 seconds, because on all of my tables, 10 seconds was on there. So to find out how many feet for 10 seconds I'm expecting, I cross multiplied and I divided, and I got 2.5 feet. That one's not correct, not correct, not correct, and the last one is correct. Then I also wanted to check to see, just to double check and see 20 and 5. So 1/4, that simplifies to 1/4. 5 over 20, which is what we have here, also simplifies to 1/4. So I just double checked another point on the table to double check that J is the correct answer for that one. Number 19, the amount of water an electric dishwasher uses to wash dishes varies directly with the number of loads of dishes. The dishwasher uses 36 gallons of water to wash 9 loads of dishes. How many gallons of water will the dishwasher use to wash 10 loads of dishes? So I found my unit rate, I divided, it was 4 gallons per load, and then I just needed to multiply by 10, and I got 40 gallons. Last one, which situation represents an example of a proportional function? So proportional, we should not see anything added or taken away. A taqueria charges $5.50 for every taco and quesadilla combo. So it's just the $5.50 charge per, so that one works. Sarah's cell phone plan charges 5 cents per text plus a $10 monthly fee, so that fee makes it non-proportional. A tire store charges $10 to change 1 tire plus a $25 labor charge for changing up to 4 tires, so that $25 labor charge makes it non-proportional. And then a local gym charges a registration fee of $55 plus a monthly charge of $30. So it's $30 per month, but that additional $55 registration fee makes it non-proportional. So the correct answer was F. I hope you did well on the test and have a great day.